Hi everyone, Aidan here. I hope that you're all keeping safe and well. Today I'd like to talk to you about the model that helps you define and assess and analyse the relationships that you may have with a key customer or a key supplier. And in today's world, we all know how important it is to keep the relationships with really good customers and also to try and assess relationships with some suppliers to see if there's maybe perhaps too tight a relationship. As an old saying goes, a close relationship with a supplier not only binds you both together, but it also blinds you. It blinds your company in terms of maybe it's not getting the best prices, it may not be getting the best work done, or maybe using more resources than it needs to. So I'm now going to go to a different screen and talk you through it. So the key customer supplier relationship model is broken down into two key areas: attitudes and actions. And with attitudes, what this means is these are elements which identify how you and your critical customer or supplier approach their business relationship. Where with actions, these elements identify the activities undertaken during the relationship between yourself and your customer or supplier. Attitudes are broken up into 5 different areas: joint learning, long-term expectations, trust, sharing success, and multiple points of contact. What joint learning means is essentially there's a sense of learning between both parties, and that they feel that by learning together, it will benefit both sides as a whole. What long-term expectations mean is that relationships always focus on a long-term view, and maintaining the relationship is more important than ending a relationship. Trust is the willingness of one party to believe that the actions of the other party will be of benefit to them rather than of a hindrance to them. The sharing of success means that parties recognize they have more to gain through the success of the other party rather than they have by doing it individually. And finally, multiple points of contact means that there's many different parties on the other side, whether it's your supplier or your customer, that you can speak to, or your supplier or customer can speak to within your organization, and that this approach encourages people within both sides to develop and mature relationships from both parties. Multiple points of contact means communication between parties involves links between different individuals within both organizations. This approach encourages multiple people to form relationships from both sides. Within actions, there again is 5 different areas. Joint coordination of activities is where the timing, the type, the quantity of a product or service are usually agreed between both sides. Joint problem solving is if there ever is a problem that arises, both parties work together to solve the problem. Dedicated assets means that whether it's your firm or your supplier or customer has a dedicated resource to interact with you, and you have a dedicated resource to interact with them. Information transparency is where both sides are open, honest, and provide information in a timely and efficient manner. And this actually exchange of information is critical in any relationship, as it enhances confidence between both parties. So, how do you use this to identify and assess the relationship you have with a key customer or supplier? So, what you use to assess this is a traffic light system, and all you have is a red and a green light. You sit down and you critically go through each of the 10 sections with your team. And what you have to try and decide is if there's a divergence, as in parties are moving away from each other, or if there's convergence where parties are working together with each other, you then assign a color code to each of the 10 different sections. So if you see that there's divergence away, you assign a color code red. If you feel there's a real strong relationship and everything is going well and there's a convergence, you assign the color green to the different sections. And over the space of each of the 10, you'll have a trend of different colors appearing as you go through each individual point. And then at the end, you will see graphic presentation of where you currently stand with that customer. So here's an example that I've mocked up of a relationship that's after be done between a supplier and a key customer. And the supplier with a sales team has gone through each of the 10 different sections, and they have assessed each part of their relationship in terms of divergence or convergence. And what you find is that out of the 10, 8 of them are in red. That means that this relationship is starting to fall apart. And it means that the company needs to spend a lot of time and some resources to try and re-establish and rebuild the relationship in those 8 different areas. But the good thing is they have 2 green sections already. So they already have a little bit of a foothold to try and continue and repair the other areas of their relationship. On the other hand, the supplier may feel that this customer may not be worth the resources to be allocated to them, so they may continue to allow the divergence appear and let the 2 remaining green sections turn red, and maybe perhaps they're moving away to a new customer, or they maybe are offering different products that customer may no longer require. In my second example, what we have here is an assessment of a customer's relationship with a key supplier. And what they've done is they've gone through again the 10 different sections and put the color codes to it. And here we see a slightly different story. We see that 7 out of the 10 sections are in green. So therefore, that customer feels they've got a really good, strong, converging relationship with that supplier. So what this graph also tells us is that there's 3 areas where they feel they need to do some work on. And again, they need to make a decision whether they want to put time and energy into that, or they feel they may need to let it go and start to let the rest of the relationship go as well. So it's very important that when you go through any of these charts, whether it's assessing a customer or a key supplier, you do it on a regular basis. I recommend that you do it at least once every quarter. Sit down with your sales team or your purchasing team and you work with them to go through each of the 10 different sections for the key party, whether it's your supplier, your customer, and try and get that report done. And that then gives you the next scale of work or the next piece of work for each team to do for the next quarter. Whether it's, for example, in this section, try to maybe perhaps build and develop the long-term expectations with that supplier, or maybe do some joint problem solving workshops with a supplier to try and build more convergence, or finally share some information to help again build that relationship with that supplier. So it's very important that not only we do this once, but we continue to do this on a very regular occurrence. So to summarize what I was just talking about, with using this model and that approach, we all know that there's all these studies that say it could be 5 or 25 times more expensive to try and find a new customer than it is to keep and maintain one. So using this model will allow you to assess where you may be potentially going to lose that customer, and it gives you and your team certain areas to work on, and also allows you to know what resources to put in to try and maintain and keep that relationship with that customer. On the flip side, if it's a supplier, using this model will let you know if that a supplier that you have is maybe too crucial to your business and it may be worth you trying to go off and find an alternative supplier. Or on the other hand, if it is really a supplier that you really need to keep close to, using this model again will enable you to assess where you both are diverging from, and maybe also give you a work area to where you have to work into to converge and keep that relationship. Again, if you've ever any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. As I always say, Gudad Inspections is not just about providing inspections in over 76 countries. It's also about helping you do business and help business do well for you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.